Amid more expensive rice, President Marcos does not see any problem with supply and even sees more stable prices of the grain soon. The Defense Secretary is opposed to the new House measure introducing reforms to the MUP pension system. All set for the FIBA World Cup with foreign teams sparring with Gilas Pilipinas a week before the tournament begins. Fast, focused, and fearless, here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Denise Tan. President Bongbong Marcos is confident of a more stable supply and prices of rice in the coming months. In a video posted by the Presidential Communications Office, Marcos Jr. said that the harvest season has begun in Nueva Ecija, Isabela, and North Cotabato. From this, the chief executive expects an additional output of 900,000 metric tons of rice, which could help stabilize the cost and the stock of the staple. The Agriculture Department sees the harvest season peaking in September or October with a yield of over 11 million metric tons of rice. Palay harvest season will continue until November. Marcos Jr. had also guaranteed sufficient rice supply even at the whole duration of the El Nino.
Na nagsimula na ang pag-aani sa Nueva Ecija, sa Isabela at saka sa North Cotabato. Kaya ito yung magkakadadagdag sa supply natin. Ang binabantayan siyempre natin yung farm gate price. I think na pagka na yung supply natin dumami at humaba ang ating reserve, mag-stabilize na ang ating mga presyo.
The Trade Department has now included rice in the price monitoring of basic necessities and prime commodities. DTI Secretary Alfredo Pascual said that President Bongbong Marcos instructed his agency to help the Department of Agriculture, or the DA, in monitoring rice prices. Currently, the price of the staple is at over 50 pesos per kilo. For its part, the DA is verifying reports of price manipulation and hoarding of rice. One food scientist believes that it's time for Filipinos to look for rice alternatives like rice-corn blend. Recall that DTI Secretary Alfredo Pascual suggested a diet change for Filipinos to combat the unabated increase in rice prices. This is a sound idea, according to UP Los Baños Institute of Plant Breeding Research consultant Art Salazar rather. He told The Big Story that the rice-corn blend is a cheaper and healthier alternative and can even help the country's food self-sufficiency.
The percentage of Filipinos eating corn as food, corn grits, we call it corn grits, is only it's less than 10%. So if we could only increase it to 10 or 20%, then we need not be afraid of losing import window because we have corn. Corn is easier to produce than rice. It does not need irrigation. Corn is rain-fed and it's also physiologically more efficient. So mas mura siyang produce.
We're bringing you more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. Thanks for staying with us here on One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro has reservations over a substitute bill concerning the pension of military and uniformed personnel or MUPs. That measure was approved by the ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives earlier this week. Teodoro noted that imposing mandatory pension contributions on MUPs without a transition phase will, quote, definitely have an impact on our soldiers. In particular, Teodoro does not agree with the blanket contributions for military personnel, especially those who have completed 20 years of active service. The Defense Secretary added that if the proposed measure is enacted, it will affect the take-home pay of MUPs. He also opposed any form of reduction in the retirement benefits of uniformed personnel. Teodoro likewise reminded lawmakers that President Marcos wants a carefully transitioned pension reform plan. Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The Foreign Affairs Department confirms that a Filipino has died in the wildfires in Maui, Hawaii. He was a naturalized U.S. citizen originally from Ilocos. The Philippine consulate in Honolulu is assisting the victims' kin, who are all based in Hawaii. The DFA says at least 66 Pinoys affected by the wildfires have been given assistance. President Bongbong Marcos supports a review of the Rice Tarification Law or RTL according to Agriculture Assistant Secretary Rex Estoperez. Estoperez claimed that the president has emphasized the need to empower the National Food Authority. Since its implementation, the RTL has stripped the NFA of its regulatory roles such as import licensing and warehouse inspections. The DA will send a list of recommendations on the matter to Marcos Jr., who is also the concurrent head of the Agriculture Department. The Monetary Board expects inflation to hit 5.6% this year. That's a tad bit over their 5.5% forecast last May and much higher than the government's 2 to 4% prediction. The higher forecast is due to a possible fare, oil, and wage hikes. Shifting now to sports, a couple of World Cup teams have arrived in the country ahead of Gilas Pilipinas' scheduled tune-up games with them. Here's the story.
Gilas Pilipinas has 5 days to submit its final roster for the upcoming FIBA World Cup next week. National team coaches are set to meet to come up with the final 12 from the 16-man pool for the Worlds. The decision will depend on who will show up and prove their mettle in the 3 tune-up games scheduled for Gilas beginning tonight. The team will face Ivory Coast, Montenegro, and Mexico as part of the final stretch of preparations for the tournament. With that, Team Ivory Coast landed in the Philippines at the NAIA Terminal 1. The team's head coach says it will be a huge honor to return to the prestigious World Cup.
We will think game by game, day by day. We just want to present the best possible image. We want to present nice basketball, attractive basketball for everybody who will watch the games.
Ivory Coast was the first African team to qualify for the World Cup. The team is in Group G along with Iran, Spain, and Brazil. Their group stage games will take place in Indonesia, but they made a stopover in the Philippines for the friendly game. They will take on the Philippines tonight at the Philsports Arena in Pasig in a closed-door affair.
We'll see tomorrow if you're good, be good, enjoy. First time you come to Philippines, so enjoy. It's a great team, so it's a good experience, so we'll see. If you win, if you don't win, enjoy.
After Ivory Coast, Montenegro also arrived at the NAIA Terminal 3. Chicago Bulls center Nikola Vucevic will spearhead what is dubbed as one of the tallest teams in the world. Gilas will play Montenegro on August 20.
We're excited for it. They're a good team. It'll be a good preparation game for us before the World Cup starts. Obviously for me, it's exciting to see JC. I played against him a lot of times in the NBA, a very good player. I know he takes a lot of pride playing for the Philippines, so that's amazing. But yeah, it'll be fun, and hopefully we'll have a good crowd.
Upon the landing of both teams, they were escorted by the motorcade police passing through the designated bus lane en route to their respective hotels.
7 more days to go before the FIBA World Cup kicks off on August 25. Support Gilas, support Team Pilipinas. Watch and buy tickets to the biggest sports event of the year, and let us all cheer for our national team. And that is it for One News Now. Have a great weekend ahead. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News, all sides, all the time.